Good morning, glory and evening grace, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt in Studio Beltway today, joined by Senator Sen Cramer, Republican of North Dakota, who you saw yesterday in the Oval with President Trump. Hello, Senator. Welcome back to the program. Good to see you again.
It's great to see you, Hugh. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Golden Dome.
I'm so looking forward to this because so much was said today about it that was wrong. I got to always acknowledge beforehand, my son works for Senator Cramer, not a conflict, but I always tell people. Senator, yesterday you
We,
made
we
that.
don't pay them enough, just so you know.
Okay, good. Make him stay later. Senator, when you made that announcement yesterday, I heard immediate skepticism from the public, and I'll play you a clip in a bit. But generally speaking, what do you say to skeptics that Golden Dome can't possibly work? It's too big, it's too complicated.
Well, when I introduced the amendments to the NDAA to create the Space Force, they said the same thing. And today, nobody's questioning the importance of a Space Force. And some of the skepticism comes from the fact that it's Donald Trump's idea, to be honest with you. But there's no reason to be skeptical because the technological advancements over the last decade or so with relation to space, the low Earth orbiting space, Middle Earth, geospatial, um, the autonomous systems. If we haven't learned anything, we've learned that autonomy is the wave of the future, and so the ability to protect, whether it's a small sliver of a country like Israel or an entire continent like the North American continent and the country of the United States. This shouldn't surprise anybody that we're capable of doing that these days. And to be able to do that, Hugh, at a cost that's much less than people might think, given just the innovation and the type of capital that's available for projects like these, really shouldn't surprise people that much.
It doesn't surprise me because Israel already does it, and we're going to be better at it than Israel is, and we absolutely need it. But let me play for you Mark Halpern on the commentary podcast today. I almost drove off the road when I heard him say this. I was going downtown for a meeting and listening to the commentary pod. Mark Halpern has good political sources, but I don't think he has much strategic depth. Here's what he said about
On
Golden
missile
Dome today.
defense, it'd be great if we had a foolproof way to shoot incoming attacks on the United States. But what you see if you go back to the SDI debate under Reagan is it's unlikely that the technology will be perfect. We see that in Israel. Golden Dome, Iron Dome shoots down a lot, but it's not perfect. And the problem is it's destabilizing. It lulls the United States into thinking that we are impregnable. And it encourages our enemies who do have the missile capacity to shoot at the United States to say, well, we can, in a certain circumstances, we can shoot a ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile at the United States, and America can shoot it down. And so, we're not going to be escalating the conflict. Those are dangerous things. So I don't care how much they spend on it. I'm deeply skeptical that the United States could build such a system, particularly in the age of drones, that would actually defend the country. I think it's a colossal.
So, Senator Cramer, there's a lot to rebut there. Take your shot. Where do you want to begin?
Well, first of all, it ignores the fact that our adversaries are building long range missiles, hypersonic missiles, the type of missiles that can actually orbit the entire Earth before they come back into space. They're very, very fast. So it's not just your sort of intercontinental ballistic missile or a mid-range missile that's being aimed at us, but we know for a fact that China is building lots and lots of ballistic missiles that have the capability to reach the United States and Russia likewise. So the fact that there's not to pretend somehow that we're escalating by defending against the advanced weapons of our adversary is ignorant at best. To suggest also that's somehow escalating at a time when our adversaries, to include China and to include Russia, actually have weapons in space, not just weapons that can be steered by space, but they're actually in space, is to say the least folly. To hear even the leadership of China and Russia are saying that this would be escalating, that this would be destabilizing it. So he's literally using Russian talking points when he says destabilizing. That is so rich, considering that they have offensive weapons in space themselves, that somehow us protecting ourselves from those weapons are somehow destabilizing. It's insane. Sure, wouldn't every adversary love it if their other enemy just unilaterally disarmed? That's what the left has wanted us to do for years.
Yeah, Senator, he also said it's unlikely that it will be perfected. To which my response is, I was in the Reagan White House when SDI got launched, and it didn't get
Mhm.
perfected until Israel got it working 99% of the time and shooting down missile after missile. Some do get through, but it's a lot better than not having any defense. And we're accelerating progress. I think I'm not a scientist, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn, but I think we're getting
Yeah.
better at this, aren't we?
We're getting so much better at it. Hugh, one of the exciting things about what we're experiencing, and I said this in the Oval Office yesterday, is that modern warfighting, if you will, modern military advancements are more about Silicon Valley than they are about shipbuilding, really. And the fact is that there's a lot of venture capital interested in this space, if you excuse the expression, but because it also has commercial applications. Protecting us from intercontinental ballistic missiles is some of the same technology that allows GPS to work and things like that. So when it comes to low Earth orbiting satellites, which we are already doing, when it comes to Middle Earth orbiting satellites, which we're already doing, and of course, the geo satellites that have been around for years. All of that is already happening. What we're really talking about here, more than anything, is, and you heard General Gutlein often refer to the terms knitting together. That's the knitting together of existing technologies and existing capabilities, and then layering on top of that more modern technologies which are accelerating at a very fast pace. And that's why, just to take one example, the Space Development Agency, which is responsible for the low Earth orbiting satellite proliferated warfighter architecture, which is just getting ready to be launched. Um, their method of doing this is called spiraling development. And spiral development means you put the first tranche up and the second tranche up and the third tranche up, and eventually you're going to replace those satellites with the next group every couple of years. And you never know which company might come up, or what entrepreneur that's working on something in the garage comes up with the next technology, because much of this stuff is similar to really high level electronics that we already deal with on a regular basis. So there's a lot of intellectual capacity, a lot of research at big universities as well as small ones that are going to contribute to this security.
Let me raise the last two questions that come up. I raise the issue of rogue states. The Houthis are trying to shoot down our our missile, our aircraft carriers. They're trying to shoot at our destroyers. We have rogue states that are going to have the technology before long. There is no abroad. Everybody can hit us pretty quickly, and Iran retails this stuff. Don't we need Golden Dome, if only to deter the rogue states? We can deter China and Russia with mutual assured destruction, but fanatics with missiles is a real deal.
There's no question. The ability to have 24-hour a day, 7 day a week eyes in the sky, looking at every area. When Iran fired all those missiles at Israel, for example, it was in many cases American technology that first saw those missiles coming, and it was in many cases American fighters along with Israeli fighters that took down just about every single one of those attacking missiles and drones and whatnot. Now, will it be perfect? It'll be as near perfect as you can get when it comes to intercontinental ballistic missiles and things like that. But these rogue states, I mean, the Houthis, what they've been able to do in the Red Sea and in Yemen against our superior systems is very concerning. I'll leave it at that. I just came out of a skiff today on this very topic. They are progressing very quickly, and to the degree that we can keep up with them, we have to always stay at least one step ahead of them. So not everything's going to come intercontinental ballistic, but remember, at the same time, Donald Trump's shut down the southern border. So hopefully we'll slow the trend of people coming in and infiltrating our country from within. We have to guard against that as well. But
So,
we've got
last
peace
question,
dividends
Senator
for about
Kramer.
40 years.
The president said it would be done in his term. I think that might be rosy and boosterism and leading by energy. What's it going to cost, and where's the money going to come from? I know you put some
Yeah.
into the big beautiful bill, but how much? What's the price tag, and where's it going to come from?
Well, the price tag's 175 billion is roughly we think it's what the Pentagon thinks we can do it for, and that's to at least get the dome done. And by the dome, I mean, again, knitting together all the existing technologies, layering it with others, having an open architecture, really important. When we talk open architecture, that's what allows all of these different systems and generations of systems to speak to one another. That's probably the most important part of all of this. It's also the most exciting part, because it's what allows the next innovator to come up with another solution. So, but the initial phase of this, the next 3 years that the president was talking about, is about 175 billion, obviously far short of, well, at least short of 200 billion. But a lot of that stuff has to be done anyway. We're going to have a LEO system, a low Earth orbiting satellite proliferated warfighter system that contributes to this. New missiles contribute to this. Directed energy lasers will contribute to all of this. So a lot of the stuff we have to do anyway. It's just putting it together into a shield to protect the American
all of the above, Senator Cramer. Thank you for joining us. Come back and update it as we find dumb things being said about it. I'm going to ask you to rebut it. Senator Kevin Cramer from North Dakota, thank you. I'll be right back, America. Stay tuned.